It is a beautiful day and a warm welcome to the round table. Now, you know that rampant corruption, maladministration and lack of accountability have negatively impacted the development of sports, particularly the game of football in Africa. Football has turned into a billionaire dollar industry across the world, but Africa remains at the periphery of this lucrative system. It is believed that many factors, including corruption, accounts for this. FIFA's standing statutes of non-interference, analysts say, is also a factor. The question is, what then is the future of Ghana's football, given the deep-rooted and structured nature of corruption? Benjamin Willie Graham is a sports commentator and analyst, and he is with me here in the studio. Henry Asante Twum is also the head of sports at Starr FM. Good to have you guys. It's a pleasure. Right. Henry, would you say corruption is synonymous with African football, or let's say Ghana's football in particular?
If history is anything to go by, if what we have read, known, seen around the world is anything to go by, then I wouldn't limit it to Africa and Ghana for that matter. A worldwide canker, because on the back of what happened, what led to the dismissal or the resignation of Joseph Sepp Blatter as FIFA boss, on the back of what led to the the loss of Issa Hayatu's reign as CAF president. There were a lot of allegations leveled against these two individuals, not them alone, but other executive committee members of FIFA, Jack Warner, in terms of World Cup bids, in terms of hosting rights, in terms of getting sponsors to sponsor World Cup competitions. It didn't happen just at FIFA. It happened at even confederations around the world. South American zone, the North American zone, CONCACAF, and recently a former chairman or president of the Brazilian Football Association was also jailed. So I don't think corruption is limited to Africa, limited to Ghana. It's a worldwide canker. Just that elsewhere, they've got very, very strong institutions that fight these problems or these issues when they come up. Here in Ghana or in Africa, mostly you need to have that goodwill. And it depends on who is in power as president or who is in charge of the country. Oftentimes it's happened in Nigeria when the president of the day decides whether to interfere or not. And mostly they attract sanctions or punishment from FIFA. There is always a FIFA ban. But, I mean, they always come out unscathed. It's happened in Benin before. It's happened in Morocco before. It's happened in several African countries, including Egypt, a powerhouse on the continent. So it's wide, it's broad, it cuts across, but the most important thing is about how we handle it when the issues come up.
Let me find out from Graham as to the factors contributing to these issues that Henry has just raised, the issues about corruption. What really leads to these?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors. Football is purely a business venture. And elsewhere, you realize that it's a commercially viable business that everybody wants to go into it. And if you take, for instance, the American sports into account, even the college football is heavily commercialized. If you come to the NBA, the American Football League, you talk about baseball, it's a huge commercial venture. So that is where money is made, and that is where everybody wants to go in there to get something out. Now, if you come back to our part of the world, it's a new venture that is coming up. That is, I mean, if you look at the millennium years coming to this particular time, this is where we got to know that, listen, football has really become a business venture. And so in Africa, we know. And for FIFA to say that, listen, we've always been at the backseat for a long time, there's a need for them to support Africa. There's a need for them to just make sure they're pumping a lot of money. So FIFA comes out with a developmental fund where they make sure every year they give Africa or some FAs some amount of money to develop the game. Now, going forward, if you look at the amount of money given to us, and even at the World Cup, if you look at the sponsorship packages that also comes into mind, it gives you an idea that it's an area that every businessman or every investor wants to go, because the reaping of profit is always going to be huge for you. The profit margin for you, you know, partnering the FIFA World Cup, under 20 Women's or Males World Cup, or any other competition associated with FIFA is always huge. I mean, if you look at CAF, for instance, we had Orange coming in at a point, Total is in currently. So all the marketing, huge marketing companies are now also realizing that, listen, the market is huge for Africa, so let's go in. And that is where some people want to take advantage of the system, and then, you know, make sure that they also reap something out of it. Quite recently, DR Congo suspended their league because their FA president, Constant Omari, was arrested by the state security apparatus for embezzlement of some funds. And that should also tell you that even DR Congo, I mean, possibly if you're talking about football at that level, wouldn't even classify them as one. But it tells you that they have also gotten to a stage where they feel that, listen, a lot of money is coming into the game, people are interested, and so can we do something about it? So typically, it's an issue that even FIFA is trying to deal with it. Even CAF, we've said a time without number, that CAF, some individuals over there are corrupt, but as to whether we have the evidence to prove otherwise is an issue. It's just a myth, or perhaps it's a perception. But the case is here, the case I want to make here is that since we entered the millennium era in Africa and even worldwide, football has become a commercial business, and you can't take it away.
Well, let me just chip in this. You ask Graham what contributes to this corruption, and whether it's perception, whether it's myth or whatever. I think that the major problem has to do with those who lobby. It happens. I have sat in meetings whereby you see people coming to do presentations, and because they want to win a bid, they find a way to lobby. Now, how do you lobby? You lobby by promising or enticing people, and that's where the corruption comes in. So maybe there is the biggest competition in Ghana is rotated in terms of host cities. So say this year, Cape Coast gets the opportunity to host a game. Then the following year, automatically it moves to another city. Now, I am sure that whoever gets the opportunity, because it is economically viable, if it is even a competition held within a 2-day period, 3-day period, 1-week period, the attention, the focus, the mileage, the economic activities associated with the event, the crave, the pop and pageantry associated with the event, direct some form of attention to that area. So automatically, people will lobby for it. So that is why, for instance, when it comes to the World Cup, you will realize that nations lose the World Cup hosting right by just 1 vote. By slim votes, 1 vote, 2 votes. Because those who lobbied, maybe the enticement fee was, you know, they need to, you know, oil the
heels.
Absolutely. And that is where corruption comes in. Corruption is not done physically. Corruption is a network. It happens, it's a network. That is why whenever there is a story about corruption, whenever that story breaks, you remember the FIFA one. You see, the people who did the investigation on Joseph Seblata worked on him and worked on all his apparatchiks. So it's a gang, it's a group, and they work together. Look at CAF. Whenever Issa Hayatou stepped aside or left the position, almost the entire executive council of CAF were all wiped away, or they were thrown away, because that clique, that gang cannot be kept, because they worked together. It's a team, it's a bond. The president of CAF at the moment, he was also put there by a gang. Now, if we are to go into the activities which led to his election, you have no idea. I mean, you will be marveled. Where they held meetings, conversations that took place, discussions which happened, and even there is always a lead gang, and then the middle gang, and those who sit back and operate from afar or a distance. So look, corruption in football is just like corruption which exists in the oil industry. It's just like corruption which exists in the mining industry. It is big. Why? Because in your introduction you said it's a multi-billion dollar
venture industry across the world.
Look, football has its own economy. I keep saying that the economy of football can even run the whole world. the economy of football, can run the whole. Look, Becky, when you qualify to play at the World Cup, money is given to 32 nations, 1.5 million. Today it is $2 million. $2 million times 32. You know how much that is? It runs into what, $80 million just to prepare for the competition. Today, the winner of the World Cup in Russia is going to take home about $60 million. The winner of the World Cup in Russia is going to take home about $60 million. Appearance fee, group stages, round of 16, quarter-final, semi-final. The more you go, the higher you go, the more money you make. Talk of the UEFA Champions League, talk of CAF Champions League, talk of all the competitions around the world, and look at the amount of money associated with those competitions. It is huge. And that's where companies would want to lobby, would want to entice people. That's where corruption comes in.
Wow.
The thing is, all these arguments, I mean, what we're saying regarding the lobbyists or the lobbying groups and how they get in there is as a result of the fact, and I did say, that we moved from one era to the other. And that is how come I've said that football has become a commercially viable venture. So everybody who wants to get into or perhaps wants to market its product looks at football as the only means or the cheapest or the most easiest means to get there.
It's like politics.
It's just like politics. It's just like telling you that there are two types of corruption. They have the value-enhancing corruption and the value-retarding corruption. So it depends on whichever type of corruption you want to practice. You mentioned the CAF issue and the FIFA issue. Why? We have the same issue in Ghana, don't we? If Christian decides to leave, he's going to leave with a team. If a new person comes in, he also will come with a team, because that network must work together to achieve a common, goal.
Whether positive or not.
But you know, there has been the other issue about underdevelopment of the game, which has been intrinsically linked to the lack of transparency in our football. How true is this?
I mean, underdevelopment in Africa football. See, Becky, when you pick, and I always say I do not like, in fact I don't like comparing African football or African game to European ones. I don't, because the difference or the gap is very huge.
Why?
You know why? Now let me even start here. When you pick most of the English Premier League clubs, for the benefit of this program, when you pick most of the clubs, check their formation years. Majority of them were formed in the 18th century. 18th century. There's a club called Colchester United. That's a Division 2 team in London. It was formed in 1817. Okay? Now, you pick the English Premier League. They started playing in the 18th century. Where was Africa in the 18th century? The continent Africa in the 18th century. Where were we?
We were under bondage.
You understand me?
We're going through slavery and
that's
all
the
that.
point. So you cannot compare your development because they have moved for 400-500 years.
Yes.
They've played the game that number of years to be where they are. Okay? They started at the way we are also struggling. They also went through the same stages. Poor pitches, disorganization, all those things they went through. And then they started looking at how can we make it better. The English Premier League that we are talking about, in the 90s, we were watching the football made in Germany.
Yeah.
They were not even closer to where it is now. Even the Germans had advanced.
Because the Germans saw the need to put the game on TV.
On TV.
The English did not see the need at the time to market their game through the television space. Now later when they realized that that's the way to market the game, to brand the game, to make it accessible to the people, then the whole world realized that, oh, there is that competition in England.
And so if you pick the English league, there's even currently what we talk about, digital marketing that they are using today. If you go to America, the Super Bowl, it is beamed live on Facebook. Do you know how much money they are even making out of that one? So I tell you that it's stages. For Africa, we are now even starting to walk. We were crawling in some years ago, but now we are what? We are now beginning to walk. So for us to be there.
So now that we are even crawling or walking, isn't it this time that we need to be transparent in our dealings when it comes to the game?
You know, you being transparent, listen, they also have a stake in what happens in African football. They have a stake. Whatever that is happening here, they know. If your football will develop, okay, it will depend on what happens out there. Because your best players would always want to move there. So, underdevelopment comes in different formats. Financially, infrastructure-wise, resource in terms of human development, all those things will come in. So, the issue we have here is that African football will remain stuck as it is because we have people in charge who know that, listen, for us to get there, we need huge investments. Huge. And those investments are not coming. Why is it that FIFA gives us money for development? Soccer Man, Soccer of excellence. FIFA is helping. But I'm saying that what has been the impact of that? Our leagues, African leagues, we are struggling. Why are we struggling? Because the financial wherewithal is not there. Even if you have an infrastructure.
But Graham, something just
came to mind. Just add it on.
You mentioned Ghanaman Soccer School of Excellence in Rampant. Beautiful. Laudable. And when you visit the FIFA website, it is there. They tell the whole world how much they are spending on member federations every year, on women's football, capacity building, training of coaches, technical, administrative, blah, blah, blah. They tell us there is a breakdown. You can check. You can check FIFA.com. You can check. It is there. There is a breakdown. Now, it is not limited to Ghana. They tell the world how much they spend on each and every single member federation. Yeah. I'm saying that when the money comes here, how come we don't tell the world how much what we use the money for?
What we received.
No, we know. Okay, let's say from FIFA. Because I have opportunity of logging onto the FIFA website to check. I know that every year, FIFA gives Ghana Football Association $250,000. All right. So I know, I don't need you to tell me, but I'm saying that why don't you, the recipient,
give us a breakdown?
Give us a breakdown of what you use the money for.
But you thought that they have a structure there?
No. Graham, you see,
a serious question to ask.
Graham, you see,
they have the structure.
Graham, you see, when you cut a sword for a project, later you go to commission the project, but you don't leave it there. You tell us how much you spent on the project. So I am saying that what stops the FA? Transparency is very, very important. Look, you need public confidence. The Football Association is an association. Yes, it's a limited liability company, but the products of the Football Association are social products. It's the reason why you and I are sitting here, we are talking about corruption, because the products of FIFA, the products of CAF, the products of the GFA are social products. You and I have an interest in it. We are what? We are stakeholders. So the ordinary fan who sells yogurt on the streets of Accra deserves to know what you use the money for. Do you know why? You are able to give him an information. The information is transient. It trickles down. Now you tell him that every year you get. You remember recently, Transparency International came to Ghana to conduct a survey. They went to the Football Association, sent emails, went there with hard copies. It wasn't responded to, and they said the FA is what? Is not transparent. Do you fault them? It is true, because the FA is not transparent. Because to date, yes, I will blame successive governments. We don't know what we use the money
Henry,
after 2006 World Cup.
Break mindset.
2006 World Cup. We don't know what we use the proceeds of that World Cup for. We bought pickups for our 10 RFAs. 2010, we made $40 million from South Africa. Where is the money? The last time I asked that question, the then sports minister of Free Ankara said that the money is in the consolidated fund. Even when they put me in that fund, I will get missing. 2014, we made $8 million from the World Cup in Brazil. What have we used the money for? So successive governments, the FA, it's as if we don't have a plan. Because today, if you walk to a potential sponsor, that you want the sponsor to come on board and sponsor this particular show, I am sure that you go with synopsis, you go with old programs, you go with a chart, you go with how well your show is doing. Why? Because you want to convince the sponsor to come on board.
Exactly.
Why haven't we told Ghanaians over the years what we used the World Cup money for? Because It is the taxpayers' money that you use to pay the players during the qualifiers. We deserve to know.
And as followers of the game,
Absolutely.
what have you been doing as analysts?
You ask the questions and answers are not forthcoming.
You know why I'm quiet about this?
No.
You see, it's so much of, for me, people not being truthful and honest to themselves. That has led us to where we are. Henry is talking about successive governments. There are ministers of youth and sports that come. The major thing that makes them different, and that makes most of them leave, is that you must have a very cordial relationship with the FA. Your relationship with the FA determines how long you stay or how short you stay.
And in that relationship,
he knows. And in that relationship, it must be very cordial. Because you see,
no, the emphasis is mine when it comes to cordial.
Yes.
With respect to the subject matter that we are discussing, if it will be cordial, in what sense?
When the World Cup,
when it comes to transparency, when it comes to accountability, then you just have to keep quiet or what?
When the World Cup budgets were prepared, we went to Jamaica Commission and we're looking at the budget preparation, and a certain amount of money was given to someone who was dead. Didn't that budget go through the ministry? Didn't people scrutinize the budget? Couldn't they have asked the question as to who is this person that we are going to give the $100,000 to?
But they won't know who he is. So names are on paper. But I don't think they will know.
I'm presenting a budget to you for you to just go to government and say, I want this money. It's just like you prepare a budget to the GBC Finance Office. They must scrutinize it and ask questions. I'm saying that the one who brought the budget to you, that we need this amount of money, it is you couldn't ask any question. There's the technical committee, finance technical committee at the minute, they couldn't even check who are these persons that we're going to pay the money to. Nobody asked. It had to take a committee.
They asked.
How deep-seated is this problem?
So you see, so the problem is somebody. You see what the problem we have, and which is not peculiar. My brother is also deep-rooted into the game of football in Ghana. He belongs to a football club. They go for meetings. Currently, as we speak here, there's a hula baloo as to a handshake of 7.5%. I'm sure he's aware that somebody brokered a deal, a sponsorship deal for the FA, current Premier League, and the person needs a handshake. And the handshake is 7.5% of the total amount, which is about $70,000 or so, to that individual. He said it's one person, not an agent. It's one person. Clubs are currently confused. Some are complaining that there's 7, it's too much. You should give him 5. But they are quiet.
It boils down to transparency.
But I'm saying that there are those who are complaining of transparency, not even him, but there are people within. But they are there. They are there.
And they are involved in the act.
See, I believe in something. When you believe that integrity is not right, and you just pull out. Listen, I don't think I agree with this, so I'm out of it. It will draw people's attention. But it's like, you are there. You may be ninja, but you are still inside. I have a problem. You know, you are complaining that there's lack of transparency. How many of our clubs? Listen, we have a Ghana League Clubs Association. You know what their jobs are supposed to do? Their welfare body. They must fight for the various clubs, their welfare.
When you sideline them, they become toothless.
That's the problem. So at the end of the day, the people around, even the clubs themselves, they have even signed their own welfare body.
No.
Maybe perhaps when you come out like that, the
moment you speak
exactly, everybody will come at you.
Rebecca,
so then let me just keep quiet and sit.
You know why some of us who have that idea of speaking loud and we are
vocal and say our mind.
Because you don't.
Ask my brother, we started speaking about not today.
Because you don't do what others do.
What do others do?
You have your own media.
Graham, hold on to the other one. Let me. Okay.
You have your own colleagues in the media who will come hitting you hard for criticizing.
For speaking the truth.
Yes, your own colleagues. So let me, Becky, the problem, the corruption, the problem is that the media.
My brother is confused.
The media, we are divided. The sports media, we are divided. There are those who are okay with what is happening, and there are those who are not okay. So those who are in charge, they are playing with the game. Oh, these people, they know what they are doing. So when they have issues, they know the people they have to deal with. And those individuals will come and deal with you if you criticize the status quo. So the problem we have here is that people know that the truth, they know the truth. But I'm saying that people are being sorted out small, so they will not speak. As for me, I don't get sorted. He doesn't get sorted. So we'll speak our mind.
Even if
with what is happening now, because if there is a divided front with what is happening now, and we all want to tell.
You don't know? You mean you don't know that there is?
Graham, spare me that.
You don't know that it exists?
Henry, spare me that.
I should spare you what?
Spare me that. But you know, we are the voice of the people.
Yeah.
So if this is happening now, and we all want to tackle corruption in various sectors, and the issue of sports is on board now, then how do Ghanaians stand to gain with the deep-rooted and structured nature of corruption if people will be sorted?
But even
Harry, haven't you received that before?
Sorted? By who?
To just keep quiet.
To keep quiet. Yeah, it's happened twice, but I didn't take the money because
How much was the money?
Because I looked back and I began reminiscing.
Remember where you came from.
Remember where I came from, you know. And you know, I am talking about 2014. I'm talking about $10,000. It could have changed my life.
Remember Kofisia? Remember Kofisia?
Former General Secretary of the FA.
Remember that money that didn't come?
Yes. Which one?
That media money.
$50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and I. Yes.
Oh, people. So you have all these in your closet.
We came back and we heard that the then Minister of Sports had gone to Parliament to present her budget. AWUAH Zanarans. Why she mentioned she had a budget for the media, a budget of $50,000 for the media. Graham and I were at the tournament. We didn't get a pesewa. So we kept wondering.
South Africa?
Yes. Even in 2014, it happened.
Yeah, 2014 they had a budget for the media.
And some people were left out.
Easy go.
But 2014 we had a very good time.
But we're not sorted.
Anyway, but let's come back to the issue about how Ghanaians stand to gain from all that is happening.
Look,
because if you know, you made the earlier point that we are stakeholders. The yogurt seller on the streets, even though there's a body funding football, yet we would want to know what is happening
because it's a social product.
Exactly. So with this deep-seated corruption and all of those, well, how do they stand to gain?
If we don't strengthen our institutions, if we don't look what is happening today. I mean, 4 days ago I posted something on Facebook. People were attacking me. They were sending me messages. They even came into my inbox to send me messages. Others were insulting me and what have you. I just went on Facebook and I wrote, ha ha ha, laughable. That's what I wrote. So people started reading meanings into whatever I said. I said that, look, today, President Nyantechi is fighting his integrity. He's fighting his morality. He's fighting something which, you know, if I'm sure if we were in UK or America or Mexico or Holland or anywhere else, he wouldn't still be the president of the FA.
He would step aside.
He would step aside. But you know what? He has become so powerful because political parties made him powerful. Because successive governments made him powerful. He has become untouchable because he walks on the corridors of power. Why? We have had governments. When did he take office? He took office in 2005. Who was in power? His Excellency J. Kufuor was in power. He is his boy. We know. In 2009, when Professor Mills took office, some people within the NDC wanted to get rid of him. He took a vice president to ask them to leave him. Don't touch him. Yes, I was then a presidential reporter. He took a vice president of the land to say, hey, don't touch him. Why? Because that time, a certain Randiabi was the closest friend of that vice president I'm talking about. Later, the Randiabi that I mentioned fell out with the man, Mr. Nyantechi, and today he wants him out of office. Today, the man, Mr. Nyantechi, is a bosom friend of the president of Ghana. When you put these analyses together, which conclusion do you come to? Laughable. You come to a laughable conclusion. Yesterday, he reported to the police headquarters. By 4 p.m., he was off. What's going to be the outcome? I don't know. The outcome is going to be laughable. So we live in a laughable country. We live in a laughable system.
But
the video in question, the video which led to the president's decision to report the matter to the police, has been with him for 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Have you seen it?
I'm saying the video has been with the president for 3 weeks.
But have you seen it as Henry Asante Twum? Have you seen the video?
I have seen portions of the video. Not the entire video, but I've seen portions of the video.
Okay.
And but I've just been mute because of confidentiality issues. Because the person showed me the video because of what? Trust. So I needed to just relax.
Right.
And wait for that 6th June. Then we'll all go and sit there and cross our legs and watch. And after that, we will talk about what? The sequence. And we will talk about what we need to do to protect the integrity of our football. Today, but the integrity of Ghana football is in the mud. Ghana football, we are just not... Look, Rebecca, where are we? Where are we as a football association or as a football nation? Where are we? We have our president who is vice president of CAF. We have a president who is executive council member of FIFA. He's been president of the GFA for 13 years and he still wants to continue. Rebecca, there have been so many integrity questions about this man, but the state has protected him. The state kept him there. So what will be our justification today to say he should leave?
I think that, let me make one quick point.
Do, please.
See, why 2005, when he took over? And I would have to agree with you on that point where you say the state has what? Protected him. And I would also have to agree with you when you say that political parties or successive governments have protected him. Because you know why? In 2005, there was a deliberate government policy to get Ghana to the World Cup. A deliberate government policy. So they needed him to manage that policy. Of course, he managed it well. We qualified for the 2006 World Cup. How much money was voted into our qualification? Nobody wants to care about. All we cared about was that we were going to the World Cup.
Goldfields Ghana Limited spent over $12 million or so. On
now, another deliberate policy of the government was Ghana to host the 2008 African Cup of Nations. He has to manage that one too. He was the one who has to manage it. He managed it well. We're third in that competition. We did
a bronze medal
for Ghana. But at least, I will come back to the economies of that particular tournament. Then again, power was changed to a different government. They also came with the same policy to get Ghana to the World Cup in 2010. Now somebody must manage it.
Don't touch him.
It has to be him. He has to manage it. How much money we spend to get to the World Cup? Nobody wants to know about it. But we have to get to the World Cup. Now, same government stayed in office, continue with the same policy 2014. You have to go to the World Cup. How we got to the World Cup, nobody wants to know. But Ghana must get to the World Cup. Do you know why we started having this problem? Because that policy didn't work in 2016. So now you and I are talking about how much money we spent in 2006 coming forward. You see our problem? You see, because at that moment, we were in a crossroad. We didn't know whether we're going left or going right. So we're in the middle. So once we feel like everybody's now complaining, 2006, how much money do we spend? But you see, if you are qualified for the 2018 World Cup, you and I will not be sitting here talking about what this matter. We'd have forgotten about it. So you see how psychologically our minds are shaped to think in a certain direction and behave in a certain direction. Now talk about the World Cup. But even
the journey of life and the things that happens has a way of even coming back and having effects one way or the other. So nature you can't, sometimes you can't.
Some people would also say he's done a good job at managing that policy. So some people would also, his camp would say, but this guy has managed the policy well. That today, because we didn't qualify, now we are blaming him. No, who should we blame? You understand me? But point I'm raising here is that, yes, ever since we got the opportunity to be at the World Cup, the economy of Ghana, how much did the World Cup qualification add? We should break it down. Those who do micro and macroeconomics, you tell us. What 2006, how much was added to Ghana's GDP at the time? 2010, 2014. And how much is the country losing for not qualifying to a 2018 World Cup? Go to Nigeria currently. A friend of mine was telling me. Their television stations, their Air Watch is red. If I say red, it means that it's flat. It's flooded.
Money.
People are rushing to Nigeria to buy their jerseys. Tourism is booming.
But you yesterday, Rwanda, they are sponsoring Arsenal.
Rwanda.
Look,
now next season,
there
wear a jersey with inscription. What? Visit Rwanda.
Rwanda, yes.
Wow.
There is a real estate company in Egypt also sponsoring Arsenal.
Yeah.
Globacom, they pulled out of the sponsorship of Black Stars and GPL. They are sponsoring Man United.
You understand me? So what I'm saying is that check. So when I say football is a commercially viable business from the millennium era,
Rebecca,
it is not a joke.
I traveled to Qatar.
Okay.
I traveled to Qatar in November last year. When I arrived in Qatar from Doha, I visited 9 other cities in Qatar. It's a small country, very tiny country. Look, every city I visited, they have a World Cup manual on the city, the stadium. They are building 6 new stadia in Qatar for the World Cup in 2022. They are building 5 brand new airports in Qatar. They are building two of the swiftest and fastest metro systems in the world. It will be, I think, the 2nd fastest in the world. They will finish by the 2nd quarter of 2019. The budget is already known. Qatar is going to spend about $30 billion on the World Cup in 2022. We know that in 2017.
2018.
That information is available. When you visit Qatar today, they tell you everything. They give you the manual. Al-Khor, Al-Gharafa, Al-Shifa, Doha, all those cities. There is a manual. There is a World Cup guide detailing every single information needed for you as a tourist, as a visitor. Do you know what you are carrying away? You are carrying away that information, and you are going to spread the word. Do we know how much we spent on CAN 2008?
Henry Asante.
Do you know how much we spent on CAN 2008? We don't know.
Yeah.
Now, Ghana, we have been to the World Cup 3 times. Still, there is an issue over winning bonus for the Black Stars.
Yeah. But
You must be kidding me. You are joking. You have been to the World Cup 3 times. Appearance fee always becomes a problem. In fact, the last time you went to the World Cup in Brazil, it was as a result of appearance fee. You embarrassed the whole nation, and people were kissing dollars in their hotel rooms. We were there.
you know why it's funny? You know why it's funny?
I just don't get it.
Wait,
no, look, and when I raise issues about corruption, you think I don't have to raise it?
You see, you know why? You know why? Sometimes it's sickening. I can understand his emotional outburst. It's sickening because you see, a certain company signed a deal with the FA and said that we're going to be the #1 or the official bank of the players. They must all sign this account, and all their money, the World Cup money, must be paid into that account. Ask me why that deal didn't go through, and how come that money was not paid into the account of the players. Because you see, when you are doing something, you must be very, very particular about it. And how must you be that? Because the thing is, you have money going to the players in a certain account. Meanwhile, you are playing friendly matches in Holland. From Holland, you went to where? Miami.
Yes, to play South Korea.
When you went to Holland, the players were demanding for their bonus. And you said it will be paid into the account. Which account? Where was the account?
Account in Ghana.
In Ghana. They went to Miami. You said the money will be paid into the account.
In Ghana.
The account is still in Ghana.
And even what I hear is that in Miami, they told them they had paid the money.
That's the point.
And they should assess the money.
MasterCard.
And they didn't.
The Free Aqua went shopping. Listen to what happened. What led to the money being flown to Brazil? The Free Aqua went shopping. He finished shopping. He swapped the card.
You are not a serious nation.
Swapped the card. Why dodge? They nearly arrested him. It was when he got to the hotel and said, "Massa, we want our money in cash." So what happened? What happened? Meanwhile, there were management. Listen, and management committee members who have accounts in Ghana, who could have also led leadership, thought leadership, who could have said, "Listen, we have a problem. As for our money, we don't need it now. We want the issue of the players to be addressed
sorted
before you come to us. But forget about us and deal with the players because it's important." Do you know what FIFA said that even made me cry? FIFA said, "We are going to give you $8 million after that when you exit the group stages, isn't it?" If you knew you have this problem, Gerald Barker said it. General Vake just said it on BBC.
Just an email.
You just sent an email that we have just a major problem in our country. Can you just give us an upfront of $5 million or whatever?
And then they will deduct from source.
So that the money that will be flown, it will be here.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. FIFA said this.
People don't think. People refuse to think. You could just a simple case of lack of thinking.
Just go there.
But my people, you see, someone will say that, look, this whole thing about corruption is endemic to world sports. So why do they need to make so much noise about it?
When Swiss police entered the Swiss Zurich, the FIFA office, and took away their computers and papers.
Yes.
The whole FIFA president said, Blatter, he kept quiet.
Because you work under the laws.
When Mitzi, Yoko went and took the computers and other documents of FA, the same media, we sat here, lambasted Yoko, that they do not have any jurisdiction. They were interfering into our football. They went to court. Do you know what the court did? They ruled in favor of the FA. And that was the end of it.
They lost the case.
This is where we are.
They lost the case because of the approach. I don't think they lost the case because of the practice. Because in the FIFA issue, the laws of the land, you are actually bind by the laws of the land. Look, because of Africa, today FIFA has set up a fund to pay countries before they come to the World Cup in Russia.
They're making lots of money.
No, I'm saying because of the incident. You remember in 2006, players of Togo boycotted the World Cup.
Exactly.
They nearly boycotted their first game of the competition.
Nigeria.
It's happened before. Cameroon, Nigeria, and the last time was Ghana. Even Cameroon in 2014, Cameroonian players fought on the pitch because they were fighting for their bonuses at the hotel, and players had. I mean, the front actually broke.
Alex Song and
Asu Ekoto
and Eto
and Co. So, because of that, FIFA now wants to pay you your money
before you come.
Before you come.
To boycott.
You see, why? Because of precedents. Why? Because you've set bad examples in the past and it's led to chaos. But FIFA thinks about the integrity of the competition. Because they do not want the name of the competition to be dragged into the mud. So, look, we don't want any controversy. We don't want to have any problem. Take the money before you come to Russia.
But even that,
don't come and tell us that players are fighting for appearance fee and bonuses. No, so we settle you. Africa alone, we settle you. Look, Germany in 2014, the German government, through the German Football Federation, they spent about $3 million on a games village in Brazil. They built a games village, and that, you know, they decided not to. The Germans in Brazil, REBEKAH, they didn't sleep in a hotel. They built their own games village. They had their cooks from Germany to that place, and they managed it 1 week to the tournament until the end of the game. When the games ended, they dismantled the entire structure and sold it. So you think they won the World Cup by accident? They worked for it. There is a scientific evidence to that. So when our players were fighting for appearance fee and winning bonus, the Germans were thinking about how to win the World Cup. In fact, before the World Cup, the head coach of Germany, Joachim Löw, mentioned in his interview that he fears one team, and he thinks that team is the only team that can trouble them, and that is Ghana. Check the matches they played. But they beat Portugal, they beat USA, they beat Brazil, they beat all the teams, they beat Germany, they beat Argentina in the final, with the exception of Ghana.
But let me quickly chip in this.
Yeah, so that I pick few messages because I see people calling my.
Currently, as you speak.
Why? They want to contribute.
Yes, they have to contribute.
Currently, as you speak, we have a World Cup for the princesses coming up in, I think, France?
Yes.
No,
France.
In August. Do you know their problem right now? Food.
Oh.
Food. When France, Holland, and I think 2 other nations are playing 4-nation tournaments ahead of the competition. We are in May. We are going to June, July, and then August. Their camping delayed, not because their players are not ready to go camping. Food is banned.
Because you don't have a plan.
There's no food for them. Whilst your competitors are thinking about how to plan and win the tournament, they are thinking about food. Basic need, Maslow's theory of needs. Basic. It's about food.
Oh.
They are here. And we will tell them to go and what? And win. Go and win what? So when they go and they lose 6-0 and 7-0, me, I clap for them. They've done a good job. To even move from Ghana to that place, it's good. Food.
You've played 3 friendlies and you have considered 31 goals.
And so no, food is a problem.
Wow, this is sad. But this one says, good morning to you and your panelists. In fact, I am shocked at the revelations they are making on the show. Ghana football, we have a long way to go. But you say hi to Apuruku Chakapama. Hey. For me. All right, okay. Unfortunately, you didn't name, but help us appreciate the governance structure of the football in our country and where the GFA sits in. I think that for people who do not know the structure,
the structure of our football, if you pick the ministry, the football, the FA, is somewhat semi-autonomous, but of course they operate under the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And again, I remember when Mr. Robert Safo, before suspension, said that they were going to put the FA under the National Sports Authority.
His boss also mentioned it. They don't have balls.
They're going to put the FA under the National Sports Authority so that they work, it's supposed to be a network from the Ministry to the National Sports Authority to the FA, so they work together.
They don't have balls.
So that it wouldn't be like, this one is just semi-autonomous, like you're just somewhere else. And then the two operate separately and you also operate separately, but they work together. And the problem we have here has to do with the fact that, you see, oftentimes there's this big myth or a disillusion lie, if I should use that word. That's it, that FIFA interferes in our football, or FIFA will interfere if we touch anybody from the FA. That's a big lie. At the GMFA Commission, it was revealed that there's even a document from FIFA that says that because, and Becky, listen carefully, because FIFA itself knows that in Africa, governments fund football. Governments in Africa, the whole of Africa, governments, they play a key role in your football. So they said that you must, this is the language, collaborate with what? The government, collaborate with them. Therefore, if the states invest $1 million in the princesses going to France, the FA will tell you that it is not the FA that pays the bonuses of the players. But whilst the players are moving to France, there's an account officer from the Ministry of Youth and Sports who holds the purse. So it's not them.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know why? It will continue to happen until ministers of sports see the need to make information available to the people of Ghana. What stops the Ministry of Youth and Sports from publishing the detailed accounts of the expenses they made on the Black Stars on their website? Don't they have a website?
The FA has a website as well.
Forget about the FA, but the ministry is the ministry is paying. So you are the paying, you are spending the money. Let the public know how much you are spending on the national team. How difficult is that? How difficult, Rebecca? As I sit here, okay, maybe when you called me to come on this show, then I told you when I come, you have to give me $2 million. But the public will not see. But you must make the information available to the public.
But the point I'm raising here,
so I am saying that yes, Graham, I'm saying that the FA will submit the budget to the ministry
and to Parliament.
The ministry must scrutinize the budget. After that, it goes to cabinet for further scrutiny. After that, Parliament must approve it if it is a major tournament like the World Cup. Now, after these 3 stages, what is there to keep the information from the public? You don't have to conceal the information because Parliament, the representation of Ghanaians, have seen the document. Why don't you publish it?
But I'm saying that,
why don't you publish it?
Even at that stage, from those 3 stages you're talking, it's of public knowledge. So we are saying that, fine, yes, publish, you won't publish. So you go and mess up. The last thing.
You spent so and so. And you want me to trust you.
What happened?
When you were going to the tournament, you didn't tell Ghanaians that you had a $50,000 budget for the media. So that if I am at the World Cup in South Africa and I am in need. But you remember we were sitting trotting.
You know how we suffered in South Africa?
I know.
Following the Black Stars.
I know.
There's a place called Rustenburg. Do you know the distance from Johannesburg to Rustenburg?
It's like from here to Nkoko.
I know.
And you have to go to training and come back and come and sleep. And the following day, another training and come back.
And the code in South Africa in June.
And then you had a $50,000 budget for the media. You didn't tell us. You didn't tell us before the tournament. You told us after the tournament.
How does that make sense? In Brazil.
How does that make sense?
When Natal.
The team was in Maceió.
The money was shared in Maceió. Do you know from the distance from Natal?
2 hours by air. 24-hour journey by road.
Interesting. My motherland. This one says, in our own beloved motherland country, we have big hurdles to cross. I'm really enjoying the truth being spilled out by your men in the studio. The game has become too political, and this is affecting us. Okay. I see people calling. We'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, I'll pick a few of your messages, and we'll allow you to phone in and give us your take. The studio is lit. Interesting conversations, you know. Right, you can also call into the program on 0209 578 478 0209 578 478. We are looking at sports administration and management in Ghana, and whether the issue of corruption is just a facade or it is a reality. And from the discussions thus far, then it means it is deep-seated in the game. This one says, my name is Francis Pobi. I'm just in love with Graham and Henry in the studio. They are just too much. Okay. I think Ghana football should be scrapped because the country spends a lot of money on them, but they don't deliver, while other disciplines deliver. So it has to be scrapped. You can send me a text message or a WhatsApp, and the phone number to call has also been displayed on the screen. You can call it, but please let the language be civil and lower the volume on your TV set. This one also says, this Nyanteshi saga is a disgrace for Ghana sports and the football fraternity and humanity as a whole. I hope the outcome goes well as we are all envisaging. Unfortunately, you didn't add your name. And this one says, good morning, I'm Philip, and I'm excited watching the discussion. Henry and Graham hits more. Keep hitting, my brothers, because the truth just has to be told. And one person would have to stick his or her neck to do that. And that is exactly what you are doing. My name is Philip. Thank you, Philip. This one says, interesting, I'm really enjoying the show. Please, can you give me Henry Asante Twum's number? Okay, we'll see if Henry will want to.
Send him a message from Osuboy.
It will be the MP soon. For Osuboy. This one says, Graham and Henry. I pray that you guys are also sorted so that you can also keep quiet. I'm only fearing for your lives right now because it is the truth you are saying. Integrity holds for every human being. But once you say the truth in this country, people will hit at you. And I know what you're saying in the sports fraternity is very true. It is a divided front. But I'm still with you. My name is Nicholas Amenyo. Nicholas, thank you so very much for that. But Henry, before I come to you, Graham, let's look at, there was one issue during the introduction I made mention of about the standing statutes of the non-interference policy when it comes to football administration in our various countries, because we hear the issue of we are autonomous, you can touch us, you can do this, we do.
There is no issue.
What has that got to do on the impact of the game in itself?
The statutes that govern the game, FIFA recognizes the role of government in the development of sports, especially in Africa and some parts of North America and South America, because they know that we are not as rich and independent as our European brothers. So FIFA recognizes the role of government in the development of sports, football for that matter. The only thing FIFA frowns on is for government to say, Graham, go and do my bidding. You are president of GFA by hook or crook. Remember, before this current era, government always had a stake. Because before, the FA comes up with one candidate and government also comes up with one candidate. The last time we saw government delegating somebody or coming up with a candidate was Nyahota Maklo under President Kufuor. And when Nyahota Maklo lost the seat and Kwesi took over, the restructuring, the new statutes that came from FIFA, that's when they said, okay, henceforth, government must not direct the affairs as regards who becomes the president of the FA. That is the only thing. There is no, look, because, okay, so as a result, It's the reason why, I think 2 years ago, the NFF of Nigeria was banned by FIFA. It's the reason why last year, the SFF of Sudan was also banned by FIFA. We've had an incident in Benin, Sierra Leone. As we speak, Sierra Leone, it is still there. They have been banned by FIFA because government does not recognize Issa Johansson. But Issa Johansson is the elected president of the Sierra Leonean Football Association. When it happens that way, then you will be banned by FIFA.
I have a caller on the line. Let me pick the person quickly. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, hello. Good to have you on the line. Your name and where you calling from, sir?
My name is Sigismund Sakon, calling from Spain, Texas. Right.
Philip, please go ahead with your submission.
I see interesting days ahead. In fact, this is really going to be a test of time. You know, the president. When I say the president, I mean Nyanteche has gone through a lot of integrity tax, as in like trials and other stuff. But then this is really the break of the canals. But reason being that he's involved the very first gentleman of the land. You see, and this is not this has something to do with it has the bottom line of this whole thing is integrity test. The president is trying to come clean. You get it, and then the FA president too as well. As I speak with you, we all know that the integrity of the FA is being tarnished for some time now. You know, everybody talks about CKDA, but then there's no proven evidence to back their claims. Unlike this announced expose which has come out. So, and there's been a couple of apology letters flying about in the social media that he apologized for what has happened, and then now he wishes he could undo what had ever happened. As to whether it is true that it's coming from his lawyers or from his camp, that's another thing altogether. But even if that should be the case, that the apology letter is coming from him, then I think the case is really close, because there's an admission of fact that, in fact, he has committed a crime. Yes, and if this be the case, it means that his other ambition, as in the CAF, his position at CAF, his position at FIFA, and his position at WAFU is going to be in doubt. If I were him, by now I would have resigned my post as a GFA president whilst I fight my case out in the law court to redeem myself. You see, but in our culture down here, we are not used to leaders taking up responsibility and resigning. Other than that, in other jurisdictions, he should be resigned by now. Yes, and this also batters the point that there's always been flying around that FIFA would jump in, FIFA would jump in, FIFA would jump in. But this has gone to prove that even FIFA themselves were raided. Their office in Zurich was raided. Yes, so in fact, it's interesting days ahead. You know, let's see what happens as the days unfold. I just can't wait for 6th of June to come. This is just this whole thing that has even caused an uproar in the whole media landscape. It's just 5 minutes of the whole about 2-hour tape.
Okay.
So imagine what would happen after the 6th of June.
Philip, thank you so very much. Yes, thank you so very much. For us, we only do not want to zero on that particular issue, so we look at it from all angles and from all sides, and we look at it from a broader perspective so that we can tackle all the issues. I have another caller on the line. Hello, sir. Your name and where you calling from? Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning, madam. My name is Philip Norte.
Okay, Mr. Norte.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm speaking from LaTogo. Very happy, excited about the program. And the two gentlemen, I think they are coming out strongly, but they made mention of some allowances that it should be given to them before the tournament. I'm asking why didn't they raise it this issue? I mean, some time ago, before if they knew about it, why didn't they raise it?
Catch you, but
and now they are raising it back.
Not to catch you, but they made an emphatic statement that they've said it severally. several times, I should say, but as it is, there is a divided front, so anytime you say it, then the other side comes bashing at you, writing stories, putting them online to make you look as if you are the bad person, but in real sense, you are on the clean side. So they made that statement.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Then that's okay. They are doing a very good job, and then I would like them, urge them to push more of that, and then they should be supporting a guy, Chongo. I know you know Chongo. He's actually coming out with this
more fire.
They should be supporting him. And there's a certain coach. I don't want. If I come out, people may actually know. You always support when people actually lambasting the FA president. He comes out defending and supporting him. He's a coach. He was a former coach. And he's like,
okay.
And now a sports
the latter indicates that they know the person.
I don't want to mention his name. Yeah, people like that.
We are aware. Thank you, Note. There are other people on the line. Let me pick them quickly. Hello, Phil. Hello. Hello, sir. Okay, this one says, please, how are you? Okay.
Good morning.
All right, good morning, sir. Your name, please, and where you calling us from?
My name is Matthew David.
And kindly lower the volume on your set. Is giving us a feedback, please.
Okay. And my name is David, calling from LA, Navadi.
Okay, LA. Let's hear you.
Yeah.
Please, let's hear you, sir.
Anna. Because you said.
Please go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
And I said, how can this team, a whole GFE, the boss of the GFE, and corruption has come, and they will take a lie and defend him, and will come back without being jailed?
Okay. All right, I think the line is breaking. So this one says, hi there. My name is Cornelius from Osu. I play field hockey, and it's a sad thing to know Ghana sports is sinking this fast. Come and see the state of hockey pitch behind the Tema station. It is so bad because we can't play night matches because we can't afford it without sponsorship or help from someone. We play one of the most interesting leagues in the West African region, but yet it is not even aired on TV, whilst football has taken all the airtime and still getting nowhere. Abdul Razak.
Hello.
You're live on the round table, Abdul.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Abdul Razak. I'm calling from Starr FM, to be precise.
Okay.
Okay. Before I start my comment, I would like to ask Graham why he's not commenting on a GP hall anymore. Anyway, before I start, I was even surprised about media people, our media guys. It's very sad. They are supposed to be educating us when the issue came on, but rather they were misleading us. When the issue started, they were misleading us, and instead of taking time to educate us, they rather doing the other way. Dylan has been arrested, Nyantichi has been done that, and this and that. Well, later when the dust settled, realized that, it was a form of the president's lunch. But anyway, going back to the issue itself, Ghana football, oh my God, we've been going through a lot. People will be saying this, and the other people will come out and say something else, and the other people will come out and say this. So you don't even know the truth. You end up stuck in the middle. So you turn out and you see people defending and people coming out. And you see sometimes the allegation, we tend to believe them, but rather it tends to the extent that when they are talking, you feel as if they have some personal interest, or maybe they have something personally against the man.
Okay, thank you.
And when it goes too much that way, we feel like, no. These people are not being honest to us. They are fighting their own cause.
Right.
But if you want to tell us that you are having the interest of Ghana football at heart, let's just forget about the personality, like my able gentlemen do there. They speak the fact instead of attacking the people, so that we understand, this is what's happening. Nyantichi is doing this, is doing that, and this is not helping our football. But rather, he's a thief,
this is that.
Okay. All right. Abdul Razak, grateful for the call. Your panelists, are they coming from the same womb? The FA president is being supported by the successive government, which the current government cannot run away from. Hey, Asemo Ghana, please add your name when you send me the message so that I can allude it to you. Hello, I have somebody from Kaswan. Foster.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to call and contribute to your show, please.
First, please, you're allowed to do so.
Okay. If I were to be a question answer by now that I've resigned, I wouldn't have even dreamed of, calling myself the GFA president yet again. Because, Africans, we have too many problems. When you're being forced, when something is up for investigations, instead of you to probably set aside for investigations to go on, then you still have these same people in office trying to, move their way into this kind of investigations. But I think Ghana football is sinking, and then I just hope and pray that this thing will just die off, and you have qualified and credible people to lead our football, because we are doomed. If not so, we are doomed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Foster. You are doing a great job. We want Ghana Football Association to be great. This one is coming from Mrs. Hannah Nylander, former Radio SYZ, formerly of Radio SYZ. I want to talk to you after the program. Okay, Mrs. Nylander, I've taken note of it. I will get in touch with you after the program. Thank you so much. This one says, we are in a country when Lante said there is corruption at the FA, and the new minister and this very government said there is no corruption. What do we see now? Who is saying the truth? This one is from Kolopono. Okay, I have a caller on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Please, your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm Mohammed Nisa, one from Agna.
Okay, Mohammed.
Madam.
Please go ahead.
The problem, my contribution is that Anasa said we will bring everything on board on 6 June. Okay.
So we all should wait.
Okay. Yeah. So as for me, what I would like is they should wait to bring everything on board.
Okay, thank you.
If they bring it,
then we'll get to know what to do about it. Right, thank you. This one says, do you think ex-President Jerry John Rawlings will be in power and they will be fully like, hey, the West are very strong, even to the extent of disputing to the entire president that he is in his pocket? That is serious. This would not be done if ex-President Rawlings were to be in power. Okay. I have a caller on the line. This one is from Nicholas Amenyo. Nicholas, okay. I have another caller, and I think that will be my final call for this particular segment because my time is fast spent. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, you'll be my final caller. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is AWUAH Ado Bartolome, speaking from Sawum.
Okay, good to have you. AWUAH, go ahead.
Yeah. I like to commend your panelists for what they are doing. I think they are doing a great job for Mother Ghana. And Henry Asante Twum, my former teacher, is doing so wonderful. I need to commend you on doing that. Thank you, sir. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. From Insawam, yes, you taught him during national service.
I have taught in different schools.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that. Hey, MP for a super. Please, let me get in touch with Henry after the show. Please. Okay, we'll try and do so. Yeah. Okay. So, Graham, a final one on this. My time is really bad. It will be how we can combat corruption when there are serious administrative problems in the game of football.
If you want to combat these things, just the most important thing is the institutions. We keep saying the institutions, but obviously, when you have a very robust institution that obviously does not care in terms of whoever is in power, and when the laws of the land says that you are caught or you are culpable of, we should allow the institution to deal with it. I mean, when Charles Blazer in the US was fingered in the Corrupt Act, the FBI came in. He had a plea deal what they did to him was that the FBI wanted to know whether he was in alone or there were other accomplices. They were-taped him. Anytime he goes for FIFA Congress, I mean, they listened to other conversation for 2 years. Eventually, he was arrested, and then the rest came on board. That is how the institution works. So if you know, I mean, if we know that this the CID, the BNI, and the rest are institutions that can't deal with the situations, when they have allegations, they have enough evidence to prove that there's something going on, and they just enter the fray and say that, listen, we want you for interrogation. You and I do not need to cry foul about the situation. We just have to allow them to work. If the individual is guilty, you are guilty. So for me, that is how it must be done. If you go to the UK, for instance, when they were going to bid for the 2018 World Cup, and then the Sun newspaper broke a deal that, hey, they were lobbying, were paying bribes to get the deal. Their own newspaper broke the story. The individuals involved were what? They were apprehended. He got Amos Adamu and the rest in Africa were also part of the whole investigative piece. And all of them resigned their position. So that is how it is done. Even in UK.
That's when he took the money for AstroTurf. Eh?
Yeah. So even in UK, their own media did an investigation and they said, listen, if you are bidding for the World Cup and you know you have the facilities, just go straight on, pay bribes. And that's it. So we should allow those individuals who think that some things are not right. And for that matter, the state must come in. And for me, the Sun and the rest made sure that UK were bidding on a clean slate and not on the back.
Unfortunately, they lost.
Okay, let me give the final note to Henry.
They still think it wasn't fairly done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, your final one.
That's another subject for
another thing.
Yeah. I wanted to. Okay. All right. Finally, I think that we didn't have to wait for an individual to conduct his own investigation to round people up, because this is this corruption issue or corruption perception or corruption tag
perception index
has been there for 200 years, like from the day of Adam, you know. So in a serious country, you would have seen state institutions taking that responsibility to investigate this issue and go down there, deep down there, to find out if indeed it is just a perception or it exists. We have waited for an individual to do this job, and we are all waiting to see what the outcome will be. As for me, I have enough tickets for June 6th. I have enough tickets for June 6th.
Start sharing.
And I have even started sharing. Yesterday I shared 15.
Did you bring
today I will share 20. I will continue sharing until 6th June.
I'll take them.
Take what?
The tickets. So we can also.
Them watch the ticket.
Oh, my producer and my technical team will need to go and watch.
They want to go and watch?
Exactly.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
No, I'll get you a ticket, don't worry. We'll talk about it later. So I'm saying that we are waiting for 6th June. I will go there, cross my legs, and
go ahead.
Yeah. I have tickets.
But why 6th June and not June 4th?
No. That one is another issue.
Let's do
June 4th is.
We go like. Yeah,
okay.
You want to take.
Okay. But with these particular ones, I think I didn't ask the question about how it will impact on the image of our football.
Oh, but of course,
one of the callers did make mention of
negative impact.
But it's good.
It's a negative impact currently. It's like, I mean, the house, I call it house cleaning. Until we get things right. See, our local league is in shambles. He knows. To travel from Accra to AWUAH, do you know the distance you cover? Go and play again. There's no hotel for you to sleep in. Then drive back. And then when you come back, you're not coming back to your building. You're moving to Cape Coast, or you're going to Sovakope to play again. You should see the clubs. Some of them at the point, your bus broke down at the point.
We're going to Sovakope.
The bus
we ended up in taxis.
You see, they ended up in taxis.
And
so
we lost 5-0.
Oh.
Yeah. You see, the people are... Ricky sometimes travel and watch what is happening. And you ask yourself, if you have a brother who is playing a Ghana league and the club calls him from Iran or Afghanistan, you tell him to go.
This one is, I want your panelists to tell me. I hear that Nilam Tevandapoy refused to pay bribes. That is why we failed to qualify. To where? Is that true?
To Russia 2018. That joke is a statement which was made by the then vice chairman of the management committee, who is now the chairman of the management.
Daniel from Tema sent that
he
one.
said it. He said they didn't pay
There was, I was with someone. There was an allegation. You know, remember the infamous or the famous seat that Ninate was there, Kwesinya Techi was there. There was a middle seat. That issue that came that they were not, they were longer as under 20. One of the final against Senegal.
It was a game against Senegal in Cape Coast.
At the Cape Coast Stadium. When we had lost 3-0 in Senegal, we were to play them here. I heard this story and I was so mad that at halftime, some people went to the minister and said, "Oh, we need to sort out the referee so that we can qualify." Meanwhile, do you know how much they were paying the players? 100 cedis a month, and they were only the 6-month bonus arrears.
Players.
The players.
The national team.
The national team players.
Who owe them that amount?
Who should owe them?
But they came from different clubs. That's why I'm asking.
But the bonuses.
Bonus.
I'm not talking about the bonuses.
Bonus, okay.
Bonus. And then they were playing, and so that they had not been paid the money. And they were playing the final qualifier. And it was 1-1 at halftime. And somebody had gone and said, "Let's go and see the referee and pay about, is it $20,000 or how much?" And that was what the minister said. "I'd rather give the money to the players to play and win than to give to the referees."
Okay.
We played 1-1.
I know this conversation will go on and on. Henry, I think that will be it. We're just waiting for our tickets. Okay, so...
We'll have more.
Henry Asante Twum, MP for Suboy, head of...
Please. Suboy as an MP.
Okay. But you're incoming.
MP in waiting.
Aspiring. MP in waiting. Okay. And
maybe in 2020 something.
For where? Axim. Anyway, my friends, we have been doing the talking on football administration and management in our country because...
You don't know you that.
Okay, so that is how we'll wrap up on this one. We'll come back shortly. Thank you, guys. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you. We used to be in the same office, right?
Oh, Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
Down there.
Oh, we have a story to tell. People,
remember our game that we started in the pickup?
we ended here. Okay, so please be with us. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.